a lot of people don't know what to buy and how to distinguish between something that was just released and the version that came out last year, if there are such minor differences between the two. And so really highlighting why you would want to get one camera over another is kind of where I try to give the value, and that helps me to define what kind of videos to make, because I want to help people figure out, actually, you don't need to buy the latest camera, or if you're doing this or that, then these features in the new camera might actually be more beneficial to you. So I started my YouTube channel in 2017, and the reason I started was because I wanted to document what I was doing. So I was doing a lot of projects where I was shooting mini documentaries and working with clients, and I just wanted to show the behind the scenes of that. And so that's why I started my channel. And then I started to talk about the camera gear that I was using, and more people asked me about the camera gear that I used. And that led me on to doing more reviews and more tutorials about using that gear as well. And that's kind of how the channel then took that journey in that direction.
Well, it's safe to say that most geeks are not girls. What got you to be a geek?
Do you know what? I think I have always been a bit of a geek, because the industry that I was in before I started doing this was web development, which is very male-dominated, or at least it was when I started.
Probably still is.
Probably still is, yeah. And when I went to university, I actually did a games development course because I wanted to develop video games. So I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just drawn to to that. So, yeah.
What do you find is the challenge in running your own channel? And the reason I'm asking is, so much of your life is now online. Mm-hmm. How do you divide between what's you private personal and what's you public personal?
I think I don't like to share a lot of my personal life online, so I don't tend to have my family in my videos and my children in my videos. And I think it just comes down to, for me at least, I just focus on the gear, and I just focus on the tutorials that I'm talking about that camera gear. So I don't really factor much of my personal life into that. Even on Instagram, I don't really share much of my personal life, if anything, really.
But can you have a connection with an audience and not share your personal life?
I think so. I know that a lot of creators who do share their personal life have more of that. Their audience sees that side of them, and they connect with them more, and they resonate with them more. But I think if you can also just be yourself and just inject your personality. So, for example, I used to cut out a lot of the mistakes that I would make in my videos, whereas now I just think, it's fine, I'll leave it in. And a lot of people actually really like that, because it's like, oh, you know, I make those mistakes as well. And so it's nice to see that creators like you also make those mistakes. And so I think it's just...
It makes you human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think you can still do it without sharing your personal life.
How do you decide what to make a video of?
I always go by the camera gear that people want to buy for everyday life.
Define that.
So, for example, people who want to go on holiday and they want to have a camera that is going to be durable and going to give them the best quality footage as possible without having to buy something like a big mirrorless camera, because if they're going on the beach or they're going to a theme park, they don't want to take a camera like that with them. And so these small action cameras and these pocket cameras are very accessible to a lot of people and still provide a lot of great high quality video footage as well.
It sounds like your audience is not the professional media creator, but more the home movie person.
Yeah, I would say so. And even though I started out wanting it to be those other people who were, you know, creating...
The high-end?
Yeah, the high-end videos. It's such a niche audience that when I then created a review about a camera that was pretty much for everybody, or at least the average consumer, that's when I saw the channel to start to grow and become more valuable, because it's just products that everyday people just want to know about, but they just don't know what to buy, and they don't know how best to use that gear when they get it. And I think that's where the value came from in the videos that I create.
One of the things I've noticed about many social videos, and my training is film school type formal training, is they each have a unique style in their editing. Do you have an editing style, and why did you adopt the one you have?
It's interesting because someone said this to me and I thought I didn't, but they said I do have a very distinct style, and I think it comes down to the way that I edit every video is pretty much the same, and I use, for example, the same kind of cameras, the same lenses. So the same.
Be specific. What cameras do you use?
So I use the Sony A7S III, but more specifically for the close-up shots of the products that I'm doing, I use the Zeiss Batis 40mm. I absolutely love that lens. There's just something about it. The quality of the picture is just amazing, and so that is the lens I will always use for that. And I think because I use that combination every time, it's given my footage and my videos kind of a distinct look. And then also the way that I color grade the footage as well, because I always shoot in log, S-Log3, and then I color grade with film convert nitrate, so it looks more natural but with a film-like look as well. So I think that is my style, very natural light as well.
Do you have a special way of cutting?
I wouldn't necessarily say so, but I think because of the background of enjoying creating mini documentaries, I think my style of cutting kind of resembles that as well, in terms of you've got the talking head, where you've got the A-roll, and then you've got the B-roll of everything else that's happening along top of that. So potentially, I think.
What do you find is the hardest thing about running your own channel? For me, I publish a newsletter every Monday, but I write it on Sunday. And Sunday morning comes around, and I'm looking at a white screen and say, I've got to fill the newsletter tomorrow. What am I going to say? And ideas always come, but that doesn't mean there's not some anguish in the way. What do you find is the hardest thing about running your channel?
Sometimes I would say just trying to get all the videos done that I want to do because I have so many ideas and very little time, because I have 2 kids as well. And this has gotten better since I went full-time with YouTube, because I quit my job almost 2 years ago, which has massively helped. But I think for me it is having not too many ideas, but so many ideas that I can't do them all. And I feel like perhaps I should hire an editor, but I quite like that process of editing. I feel like that's the most creative process of it, part of the process for me. So, yeah.
When you are thinking of your audience, how do you decide what to recommend?
It comes from latest releases, and going back to what I was saying earlier, in that a lot of people don't know what to buy and how to distinguish between something that was just released and the version that came out last year, if there are such minor differences between the two. And so really highlighting why you would want to get one camera over another is kind of where I try to give the value, and that helps me to define what kind of videos to make, because I want to help people figure out, actually, you don't need to buy the latest camera, or if you're doing this or that, then these features in the new camera might actually be more beneficial to you.
You said this in passing, but I want to make sure I understood. Are you able to make a living as a media creator?
Absolutely. I think it definitely takes time, but it is possible. It is definitely possible.
How much time did it take?
So, as I said, I started my channel in 2017, but it was only, I think, within the last 3 years when I started to take it more seriously, which is when brands started to reach out to me, or I created my own digital product and I thought, okay, this could be something. And then I just really started to focus on the actual business side of it and started to take it more seriously in that respect.
I am allergic to social media, so I am envious of your ability to make a success of it. Let's say that you're talking to someone your age or a little younger, and they want to become an influencer, which I think is the goal of everybody in grade school right now.
Yeah.
It is not as easy as it seems.
No.
What advice do you have?
Definitely start with something that you're passionate about, because if you go for something that you think will make you money, but you don't have the passion, then it is going to be very difficult to maintain it and keep moving with it, because YouTube is very difficult. It's a challenge, and you just have to have that passion, because you need something which is going to drive you forward when it does start to get hard and when you feel like you want to quit. So having the passion is definitely something.
Which is about every week there initially.
Yeah.
For people that haven't dialed into your channel, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as a review channel that focuses less on the specs and more about real world use and showing people how specific camera gear works in proper environments, in the environments that most people are going to use them in.
Running your own channel is difficult. Running your own channel is exhausting. Coming up with new ideas is difficult.
Yeah.
What gets you excited about doing your channel?
I think it definitely takes time, but it is possible. It is definitely possible. As I said, I started my channel in 2017, but it was only, I think, within the last 3 years when I started to take it more seriously, which is when brands started to reach out to me, or I created my own digital product and I thought, okay, this could be something. And then I just really started to focus on the actual business side of it and started to take it more seriously in that respect.
And it has been a delight talking to you.
Thank you so much.